out on that field today, ask yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We made it! We made it! We made it! We made it! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house!
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
Football is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's hunt now! Let's hunt now! Let's go! Let's hunt! We made it! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house!
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how like we the Miami Heat of football. Yap, 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 yap. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin straps.
It's embarrassing.
Yap, 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 yap.
Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them.
He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man.
You already make the big money.
He's a man.
Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there.
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like.
Oh, my bad, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! We made it! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house! It's a wrap. Game over.
No, this game is not over. We're just getting started right here on the lunch break. And we are powered by Jones Media and Entertainment. So again, I appreciate the good folks over at JM&E. We're bringing good folks on each and every day. And we are still doing it on the lunch break. And then I got to thank my good brother, Ben Sutter III, for getting us rolling on ROKU TV. That's right. If you have a Roku streaming device, you can download us and you can check us out live on your big screen TV. So go to your Roku streaming device, go to your Roku TV, look for BS3 TV, BS3 TV, and you got us. All right. All right. Monica Morris Howard. Hey, Queen. How you doing? Always good to see your lovely face drop by. She says, good afternoon, good afternoon, AJ and Lunch Breakers. Happy Friday Eve. I like that. I like that. I like that. Looking forward to a very big weekend myself. And it is Major League Baseball opening day today. The Astros going to get it going a little bit later on this evening, around 8:30, 8:38 by the time the first pitch is made. In L.A. now, they're not at home. They're on the road. They're in L.A. They're taking on the Angels, and Framber Valdez will get the start as the opening day pitcher. And all eyes are going to be on that shortstop spot. A young man, 24-year-old Jeremy Pena, making his first start at shortstop in place of Carlos Correa, who's now a member of the Minnesota Twins. So there you go. That's where he is, and that's where the Astros will be tonight. And then we got the Masters going on. Tiger Woods making his return from that horrific car accident back in February 2021. Right now, Tiger Woods is where? Where is he on the leaderboard? Tied for second right now. Tiger Woods, it's early. Through 7, Tiger Woods is 1 under par. The leader right now after 9 holes is none other than Taylor Gooch. Taylor Gooch, and I know I'm saying his name wrong. But Taylor Gooch is 2 under through 9. Tiger Woods tied for second at 1 under through 7. So I'm watching that intensely. I am watching that intensely. It is Throwback Thursday. I know I got my PV shirt on. I know it's a little distorted, but I had to have my green screen on for the background because the studio is still under construction. I know y'all say, how long does it take? Well, listen, when you got folks that are doing it out of the love of their heart and in their spare time, it takes a little while. So we're going to keep building until we get it right. But it is Throwback Thursday. Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review, is going to join us. He's going to put a wrap on March Madness on the men and women's side, and then we're going to get a preview of the playoffs, which are a couple of games away. I think most teams have 2 games left to play. Rockets are going to be in action later on. Let's see when they play tomorrow. They're up in Toronto to take on the Raptors at 6:30. Again, only 2 games left, and then we'll see who will be seeded where in the playoffs. All right, Keith Hennick and Al High. Keith Hennick and Al High. Yesterday, we were talking on Winning Wednesday about the teams that I felt like were going to be in contention in the NFL. And I said that the teams that I was looking at were going to be in the AFC, the Buffalo Bills, the Tennessee Titans, Kansas City, and I slid Denver up there because they now have a quarterback to go with a very good defense. They got a quarterback to go with a very good defense. And I kind of put in the back burner the Patriots, who made the playoffs last year, the Cincinnati Bengals, who made the Super Bowl, also Baltimore and Pittsburgh, who I expect to be really good this year. The Indianapolis Colts are a team that could be one of the Final Four in the AFC. I don't see anybody else out of the AFC South. And then out of the AFC West, the Raiders made the playoffs last year. The Chargers were just outside of the playoffs. But I got Denver being the next team to go from worst to first. From worst to first, I've got Denver in that situation. So Keith Hennick and them laughed at me because on the NFC side, I said it'll be Tampa Bay, the Rams, the 49ers, and I said the Dallas Cowboys. I said Dallas. Dallas was 12-5 last year. Dallas was 12-5. Second place was 9-8. You know, of course, you had Green Bay that was 13-4, but Green Bay's a mess. I don't care what you've been hearing. Green Bay in that locker room on that field, you got some fans, you got front office people, and you've got players who are trying to figure out what this quarterback is going to be. Are you going to be a distraction, or are you going to be a leader to lead us to victory? Because, mind you, in their last 2 playoff losses, they haven't scored a whole lot of points. So all that drama, all that run in his mouth has not produced a lot when it counts in the playoffs. So, again, I'm not putting them up there. I'm not jumping the Vikings up there, definitely not the Bears or the Lions. So, in the NFC South, Tampa Bay is there. New Orleans, too many questions. Atlanta, too many questions. And the Carolina Panthers, dead on arrival. And then in the NFC West, that's where the power is. Remember, the Rams won the Super Bowl, but the second place team was the Arizona Cardinals. I think they've still got some offseason questions to answer. 49ers, again, they bring back Jimmy G. I got them as a contender for the Super Bowl. Seattle Seahawks, you know, they're done. They're done. We're not going to hear no more from them for a while. So that's what we're looking at right now. All right, Keith Hennick, you give me, Keith Hennick, your top 4 from the AFC and your top 4 from the NFC. And Al High, where is he? Al High, where are you? I need your top 4 from the AFC and top 4 from the NFC. So, again, I want to hear from you guys. Again, it's Throwback Thursday. And, again, we'll be talking to Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review, very shortly. Let me just give you a quick sports update from around the greater Houston area. Again, the Astros open up their regular season tonight on the road in LA, taking on the Angels. Framber Valdez will get to start. I really think that was a good coaching move by manager Dusty Baker. And then we'll see what this young man, 24-year-old Jeremy Valdez, can do, making his first start at shortstop in place of Carlos Correa. Now, they do have a couple of other older utility players that might be able to get it done. Nico Goodrum, 30 years old in his 4th year, and Aledimus Diaz, 31-year-old in his 5th year. One of those 3 will be the everyday third baseman, shortstop. A judge ruled that former Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson is going to have to answer whether or not he had sex with 18 additional massage therapists who came to his defense against the 22 other massage therapists that claimed sexual assault. Now, he's got to answer the question, did he have sex with them? We do know of one young lady that was interviewed exclusively here in Houston, and she said that he was never inappropriate with her and they never had sex. But he's got to answer that question to the other 18 out there as well. Plus, he's got to reveal what was in his contract concerning massages. Were they only supposed to be done by Texans officials, and what exactly the details of that language in his contract? He's got to reveal that, according to a judge that made that ruling yesterday. Former Texans outside linebacker Whitney Merciless called it a career yesterday after 10 seasons. He was a first-round pick by the Texans back in 2012. And last season, he was up there with that mess in Green Bay. And look, if that's any indication of what's going on there, he decided to call it quits rather than do another season with that drama. Also, the Texans are reportedly looking to trade left tackle Laremy Tunsil. I don't know why I'm adding extra letters where they don't belong. Y'all don't mind me. It's Throwback Thursday. All right, Laremy Tunsil, they're trying to move him. He sat out most of last season with an injury. And then apparently they're looking to move HBCU alum Titus Howard, who was their first-round pick a couple of seasons ago. I think that's a mistake. I don't think they fully utilized Titus Howard to the best of his ability. So we'll see. Rockets are trying to play out the string. They got 2 more games left. They will have a game tomorrow night, 6:30 in Toronto. So there you go. That's what we got going on right now. All right, Keith Hennick has spoken. Keith Hennick said in the AFC, he's got the Bills, the Titans, the Chiefs, and the Dolphins as his top 4. Right outside of his top 4, he's got the Patriots and the Bengals. Man, I don't know if the Dolphins are going to be able to make that big of a jump. You got them leapfrogging the Patriots in the AFC East. That's a take right there. I'm gonna have to screenshot this and keep it for our remembrance. And then in the NFC, very similar. He's got the Rams. He's got the 49ers. He's got the Cowboys. And he's got the Buccaneers that team up in Green Bay. And Minnesota. Mister, you like that? I don't know. I don't know about that one, Keith. I don't know. They could do it. They couldn't. They might do it. They might not. Minnesota is new head coach. I'll give them that credit. They finally moved on from Mike Zimmer. But sometimes when you keep the same pieces, you're going to have a similar result. And I just don't think that Kirk Cousins is a team that's going to is a quarterback that's going to lead that team to the promised land. I just don't. I wouldn't mind seeing them draft a quarterback, or I wouldn't mind seeing them go ahead and turn it over to Kellen Mond. Come on, Dre. Kellen Mond, and go ahead and turn that era over to him. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Keith Hennick said, oops, the Dolphins are a wild card. Okay, so Bills winning the AFC East, the Titans winning the AFC South, Kansas City winning the AFC West, and then the Bengals winning the AFC North, with the wild card being the Dolphins and the Patriots. You got 3 wild cards coming out of the AFC East. So you're saying the Steelers, the Ravens, Cleveland, they're not going to do nothing. You're saying that the Colts are not going to be able to sneak in there and get a wild card. And a team that made the playoffs last year, the Raiders, they're not going to be in. Chargers not going to be in, and Broncos not going to be in. I don't see it. Just me. And you're entitled to your picks, but I don't see 3 playoff spots coming out of the AFC East. AFC West maybe, but AFC East, nah. I can't see that. But again, that's why they play the games. Anything can happen. I mean, who would have thought that Cincinnati would have ended up in the Super Bowl last year? Not many people, except fans of the Cincinnati Bengals and that team themselves. So we'll see. We'll see if they make it back. So again, I got to take a quick station ID. I'll be right back with more right after this on the lunch break.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
That's right. We are on the BS3 Network. We're streaming live on Roku. If you have a Roku streaming device or a Roku TV, just download BS3 TV, BS3 TV, and guess what? You'll have some great shows right there for your entertainment pleasure. And I mean, they got some great shows from top to bottom. I'm glad to be a part of the family. So again, Keith Hennig put up Al High, where are you? Al High, where are you? And we also got to say congratulations to Ryan Peoples. Ryan Peoples won the $500 in the lunch break, Keeping Up with the Joneses bracket challenge. And I got to say congratulations to him. Ryan, I need you to get at me. Hit me up, 832-403-5005, 832-403-5005, or email me, Ryan, AJ at jonesmediaandent.com. That's AJ at jonesmediaandent.com. Need to get your details so we can get that $500 over to you. Courtesy of the Sports and Wellness Doc, courtesy of the Hartwell Clinic, and courtesy of Andre Jones Insurance. All right. Ben Sutter III, there he is. He has checked in. He is the founder, creator, and CEO of BS3 TV, BS3 Network. I want to be like him when I grow up. I want to be like him when I grow up. Hey, Ben, did you see Keith Hennig's picks in the AFC? In the AFC, he's got Bills, Titans, Chiefs, and Bengals. And then the wild card, he's got Dolphins and Patriots. On the NFC side, he's got Rams, he's got Cowboys, Buccaneers, and Green Bay winning their respective divisions. And then wild cards, he's got Rams and he's got Vikings. So, yeah, I hear you. All right, y'all, listen. Couple of things I'm kind of holding until we talk to Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review. He said he was going to be a little late today, taking care of some personal business, and I love him, so I'm gonna keep the light on for him. There's a lot of talk. Oh, I'm sorry. I got a shout out to Captain Trey Pike. Captain Trey Pike watching from the cell today. Captain Pike, we appreciate you wherever you're watching from. Ben Sutter III talking about that Cowboy Nation. I've got the Cowboys as one of the Final Four. Now, I didn't do it like Keith did it. I probably should do it like that with the 4 division winners and then the 3 wild card teams. But at the end of the day, after all is said and done, my Final Four, San Francisco. I'm sorry. Let me start with the Rams, San Francisco, the Cowboys, and the Buccaneers. Not in that order, but those are the teams that I think will be competing to get into the Super Bowl out of the NFC. On the AFC side, again, going with Buffalo, going with Kansas City, going with Denver. Denver is one of those teams, and Tennessee. Going with Tennessee as one of the teams to beat. Ben, I'm with you. Suspect. Vikings, very suspect. Ladies and gentlemen, stop what you're doing, because I am truly about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to. In the room right now is none other than King Doc, the king of Queen 3 and King podcast. You can see it every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Central on the BS3 network, on BS3 TV. So, man, I'm telling you, I have fallen in love with them like family. I will cut for the queens. I will fight for the king. Don't mess with me. Don't mess with them either. All right, so real quick, let me take a quick station ID, and I'll come back, and we'll get into what we need to talk about next. Here we go.
BS3 Network, changing the way you listen to podcasts.
All right, I love it. I love it. Again, we are live on BS3 TV right now on your Roku streaming device. King Dog talk about cut it out. Man, please, I ain't playing. What you talking about, man? Let somebody whisper in my ear something about one of y'all, and they don't know I'm down with you like that, baby. 2 to the dome, pop, 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 pop. I don't know what happened to him. He was standing there and then he wasn't. That's it. That's all I got to say about it. So anyway, I want to talk a little bit about basketball before Chris Gardner gets in. Why everybody giving Brooklyn grace that they don't give other teams? Why is everybody giving Brooklyn grace that they don't give other teams? I know people hate the Lakers, gonna hate the Lakers. The Lakers are the New York Yankees of the NBA. It used to be the Boston Celtics. It's not anymore. The Knicks haven't been relevant in a while. Last year's looking more like a fluke than it was, the New York Knicks. But Brooklyn is getting a grace that most people don't get. And one of the questions came up on one of the other national sports talk shows today that kind of piqued my interest. And the question was, if Brooklyn finishes in the number 8 spot, do the Miami Heat or the Boston Celtics want to be that number 1 team to get to play against Brooklyn? Or if Brooklyn is the number 7 team, do the Celtics, do the Bucks, do the 76ers want to be in that number 2 spot to play the Brooklyn Nets? Now, hear me when I say Brooklyn is still dangerous. I get it. They got, one of the 2 superstars in the NBA. They got one on their team, and it ain't Kyrie Irving. It's Kevin Durant. Bam Adebayo said it like this: the hardest dude in the NBA to guard, Kevin Durant. He's tall, he's long, he's lean. He can put it on the court. He can hit it from anywhere. He can post up. He can, 3-point. He's the hardest man in the NBA to guard. I don't disagree with him. That's why I've got him as one of my 2 superstars in the league. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, that's it. Everybody else falls in the category below them. All right, so Brooklyn finishing 8 or 7 and having to play in to get into the playoffs, first of all, that in itself feels real suspect. Like, it might not be about Kyrie Irving so much. It might not be about Kevin Durant. They are who they are. But the team may not be constructed in a way that will see them get to the conference finals, to the NBA finals, and to the ultimate championship. Folks keep talking about, well, KD was hurt. And, well, Kyrie was part-time. And, well, things happen with James Harden and Ben Simmons, blah, 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 blah. But wait a minute. Memphis's best player, who was knocking on the door to superstardom, Ja Morant, went out. And I'm sorry, let me check their record real quick. Memphis is 55-24 and number 2 in the West. Brooklyn is 42-38 and number 8 in the East. Chris Paul went out for the Phoenix Suns. And let me check their record real quick. Phoenix is 63-17 and number 1 in the NBA. Why is Brooklyn getting all this? Why is Brooklyn getting all this love? Won't somebody help me, please? Why is Brooklyn getting all this love? Why is it but with Brooklyn and with everybody else is, I don't really see it with them. I don't really see it with them. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Brooklyn, in my opinion, will have a problem winning 4 out of 7 in the first round. They'll definitely have a problem winning 4 out of 7 in the second round. So if that be the case, If Brooklyn goes out in round 2 or round 3, round 1 or round 2, is it a successful season? To me, it's already a failure of a season. I get it. Your goal is to get to the playoffs. They ain't in yet. They're trying to lock up that number 7 spot, but they're not in yet. And whether they lock up 7 or 8, they've got to play to get into the playoffs. That's not what you expect with a team with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving on it. So I'm just wondering if Brooklyn is constructed in a way to be what Golden State was when they won, 3 out of 4, 4 out of 5, whatever it was. They're definitely not constructed in a way to win like the Celtics of old, like the Lakers of old, and like the Bulls of old. They're definitely not constructed in that. Ben Sutter III, no, it isn't. For Brooklyn, he says for Brooklyn, it's championship or bust. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. And they're already playing catch-up, in my opinion. They're already playing catch-up, in my opinion. And I don't want to hear about injuries because, again, injuries, like it or not, are part of the game. It's not an exception to have injuries. It's not an exception to lose your best player. It's not an exception to have a guy in games and out of games, whether he's doing load management or whether he's decided not to be vaccinated. None of that matters. None of that it's all part of the game. So all the but when I see a team like Phoenix still be 63-17, when I see a team like Memphis still be 55-24, look at all the injuries that Golden State had. They're 50-29. Look at how Dallas has reconstructed themselves. And they had Luka miss some of his games. They're 50-30. Nah, man, I'm sorry. I'm not a Kevin Durant hater. I would not have him as one of 2 superstars in the league if I was a Kevin Durant hater. I'm not a Kyrie Irving hater. I said that if the Cleveland Cavaliers don't have Kyrie Irving, they don't come back from a 3-1 deficit and beat the Golden State Warriors in that game 7. Kyrie hit the game-winning shot. So I'm not a Kyrie hater. I'm not a Kevin Durant hater. I don't know if that team is constructed to do what it is everybody thinks that they can do. Baby, I hate to keep picking on Cleveland. On paper, the Cleveland Browns had one of the best rosters in the NFL. What did that translate to on the field? On paper, the Boston Celtics had one of the best records, best rosters in the NBA, definitely in the East, and they didn't even make it to the finals. So, again, we're going to see what Brooklyn does come playoff time. No, let me say it right. We're going to see what Brooklyn does come play-in time because they ain't in no playoffs yet. And again, we'll talk about that more at length with Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball review when he comes on. All right, let me hit you another little station ID. We'll be right back with more right after this on the lunch break.
BS3 Network is now on Roku TV under BS3 TV. Download today.
All right. That's who we are. That's where we are right here on the lunch break on the BS3 Network. We are right there on BS3 TV on Roku. If you got a Roku streaming device, download BS3 TV. Look for that logo, right? Look for that logo right there. BS3 TV. Download that, and you will have us right there. Glad to have a chance to be in the BS3 TV family. All right, so let me take another look at these scores real quick in the Masters. I want to see what Tiger Woods is doing. I'm keeping an eye on it. Right now. Let's see. Bang, 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 bang. I don't want to go live. No, I don't want to go live. Hold on. Scores. Bang. Here we go. All right. So right now, Schwartzel is 2 under with Kanaya. They're both 2 under. Harmon is 1 under. Wilcott 1 under. And Tiger Woods has fallen to even par after 8 at the Masters at Augusta. Tiger Woods is tied for 10th, even par. Tied for 10th, even par. It's day one, round one. Day one, round one. Day one, round one. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. Let me get off of this for a second. There was something else I want to talk about. NCAA. Let me pull this article up real quick. The NCAA has money out there that is supposed to go to the players. Got money out there that's supposed to go to the athletes. It's money to incent them to do better at school. Let me read this article by Dan Murphy. Dan Murphy says less than 1/4 of the nation's wealthiest college athletic departments say that they have a plan in place. A plan in place to maximize the amount of money that they can give to athletes this year by providing cash rewards for getting good grades. For many athletes, the academic year was a revolutionary one for their bank accounts. Boosters and brands spent millions of dollars to the newly formed marketplace for athletes endorsement deals, NIL. And while schools quickly invested in helping their athletes find ways to sell their name, image, and likeness to outside bidders, they have been generally slow to reach for their own wallets to take advantage of a new, less publicized rule that allows the athletic department to reward athletes directly for strong performance in classrooms. In other words, the athletic department has money in the bank. It is not that they're waiting on. It's not that it needs to be signed off on. There is money in the bank in these athletic departments at Alabama, at Ohio State, at UT, at Michigan, that the athletic department can give to athletes, student athletes, who have good grades, or even give to them to incent them to get better grades. And very few of them have a plan to do it. Only a third of them have even said that they are going to get something in place to do it this season. Many of them have no plans at all. But catch this part. Catch this part. They figured out how to give those bonuses that came with that money to the coach and coaches for graduation rates and for better grades. Huh? You have no plans to get it to the student athletes, but many of you have already written it into the contracts of the coaches. Let me give you some examples. All right, these are the schools that are paying the athletic bonuses to the athletes. Out of 130, you've got 22. Out of 130, you've got 22. And I'm going to just throw out some names you might know. Arkansas, Auburn, Clemson, Florida, Iowa State, LSU, Kentucky, Miami, Missouri, North Carolina, Oklahoma State, Mississippi, Oregon, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Texas Tech, Washington, and Wisconsin. Now watch this. The rest of them are still trying to figure it out. But these are the schools that have already written it into the coach's contract. Alabama football coach Nick Saban is scheduled to make $100,000 in bonus payments based on the performance of the schools, of the players academically. Huh? You haven't figured out how to give it to the students, but you figured out how to write $100,000 extra in for Nick Saban? Let me do them like they do us. Nick Saban don't need that extra $100,000. So why would you hurry up and get $100,000 to Nick Saban and run past all those student athletes who, many of them, even though they're on scholarship, are still trying to make ends meet? And oh yeah, by the way, playing at a level so high that your department can generate millions, if not billions of dollars. Make it make sense, Ben Sutter III. Make it make sense, King Doc. Make it make sense, Keith Hennick. This is why you will never hear me side with an institution, side with a coach like Nick Saban, side with a billionaire owner. You'll never hear me side with them over the players, over the athletes getting their money. You know, aside from anything illegal and anything just idiotic. It doesn't make sense. You got the money. It's in the bank. Just like you bill them for their tuition and their room and their board and their books and their fees, guess what? You can send them a credit. If you bill them incorrectly, what does your system allow them to do? Credit that money back. Guess what? Put that money in the form of a credit and send that to the athlete and tell them, great job. Great job. Man, I tell you, NCAA, college athletics have found, let me say this right. They have been able to keep a process in place that allows them to make billions of dollars for the minimum amount of labor fees possible. Oh, but they get scholarships. $40,000 scholarship compared to close to $1 billion in revenue. Yeah, do that math. Do that math. Do that math. All right, I'm going to leave that alone. The other thing I want to talk about on Throwback Thursday is HBCU related. Grambling State University. I started to wear a Grambling shirt today, but everybody's been talking about Jackson State. Everybody's been talking about, Grambling. They had 5,000 people at their spring game. Everybody was talking about TSU because of their run in March Madness and other schools, other programs. I want to give Prairie View some love today. PV, want to give them some love today. I almost wore a Grambling shirt because on the volleyball court, Grambling is taking an approach that I don't know if I've seen happen in all my years of covering sports. They've got a new volleyball coach who has come in. I'll make sure I get her name right because I don't want to misrepresent her. And let's see, here we go. Her name is Chelsea Lucas. Chelsea Lucas is the new volleyball coach at Grambling State University. And she is a former successful volleyball player at an HBCU. She has come in and literally got rid of everyone on the team. All of the previous volleyball players, minus a couple, have been let go from Grambling. And now she is catching some heat, but she's got the support of the athletic director and clearly has the support of this school president. Let me bring him in. We're going to talk basketball. We're definitely going to talk basketball. But I want to bring Kris Gardner in on this because Kris is well-versed in a lot of things. Man, listen, you've been doing Houston Roundball Review since 1990. Local name, global perspective. Have you in all your years seen a new coach come in and get rid of the entire roster? Now, if you have, that's fine. I just say I know I haven't since I've been covering sports.
Not the entire roster, but probably close to half. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know,
LSU's basketball team is down to a couple of walk-ons. I know that, but that wasn't because of the coach.
Right, that's because of them. Well, that was because of one coach, the previous coach. Yeah.
Right. Look, we don't even need to call him coach. That's because of a crook.
Yeah, the previous dude in charge. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is just a reminder. I know volleyball is not the same, but it's just a reminder that scholarships are year to year. They're not 4-year guarantees. So the AD is correct in the legitimacy of it. Yes, the coach can do this, but just because you can doesn't mean you should.
That's the part right there.
So yes,
that's the part right there.
Kudos to Mr. Ralph Cooper for first mentioning it. And that's where I saw it from. He retweeted it, and I shared it with you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's business, man. That's why I've maintained for a while. I forget who it was. I think it was a sports writer in Arizona. These are sports assets,
right?
Student assets. They are not student athletes. They are student assets. So that's why I try to get more and more parents and colleagues like you to start addressing them as such. I shake my head when I hear this term student athletes from a coach.
Yeah.
Because I know you got to say it because you're a coach.
Right.
But no, student assets. That's what they are. You are an asset as long as they need you. Until they don't need you anymore.
Yep. Now, Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review, joining us on Throwback Thursday, talking about situation going on at Grambling. New volleyball coach by the name of, let me make sure I get her name right, Chelsea Lucas. Chelsea Lucas has come in and has literally gotten rid of the entire team and literally posted tryouts. She got open tryouts coming up. And, if you fit the bill and you want to play college volleyball, and you can play because, she had a squad. Ain't like she's looking for just anybody. So I just find it interesting. She is catching a lot of flack from alumni, as we thought, and from the parents of the girls who, have their scholarships pulled.
But like I said, scholarships they're not 4-year guarantees. They are year to year. They are renewable after each season. So unless it is a 4-year guarantee, and those are very, 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 very rare. Now, the coach, she could do this. She can do this. And it's, legally it's okay. But once again, the fact that she could do it does not mean that she should have done it.
Right.
So it'd be interesting to see if the former Pine Bluff, her former players at Pine Bluff will come to join her there. And then what does it do for the new coach there at Pine Bluff?
Right.
Like getting a whole new team. So this is business.
Yeah.
College athletics, even on a Olympic sport like volleyball, this is business.
Yeah.
And the quicker some parents and some players realize that, the sooner they can adjust and accordingly to business of college athletics.
Yeah. Kris Gardner joining us. Kris, we got to go, rapid fire real quick because I want to cover a number of things. Before you came on, we talked about the NCAA, basically ESPN doing an investigation into the schools that have not yet doled out the money that has been given to the athletic department to incent student assets to have better grades and what have you. But yet coaches already have some of that money written into their contract, incentives written into their contracts. What do you think? 22 out of 130, Division I schools do not have. Only 22 have a plan to give it out this year. Everybody else is willy-nilly across the board.
Coaches got agents, as you said, put in their contracts. Student assets don't have agents. They don't have representation yet. I think some people are trying to get that, but until that's done, colleges, universities, athletic departments, they can be cheap.
Yeah.
They can cut corners like this. They can pay the coaches, which is ironic because the schools will be the same ones touting the student athlete is the most important thing in the athletic department.
Right.
Well, prove it.
Right.
Simple as that, because your action's so different.
And Kris, this money is in the bank. This money is already earmarked to the athletic department. They're not waiting on funding. They're not waiting on anybody to sign up. This money is in the building. All they got to do is allocate it to the players. And only 22 out of 130 even have a plan in place and intend to allocate this season. Many of them. Alabama has already earmarked $100,000 for Nick Saban, who does not need it, and have no plans of getting it to the student athletes, student assets this season.
And I think the SEC, 9 of their schools have done so.
Right.
So they are the 9 of the 22. Most of them are SEC programs. Shocking.
Yep.
The wealthiest conference gets it. They don't. Probably to some extent they still do treat their student assets as assets and commodities.
Yeah.
But at least the majority of their schools in the conference get it and are shelling out the money for their student assets to utilize. And the rest other schools and other conferences, I'm not shocked. It's good reporting, but it just goes to show you once again that the words don't match the actions for a majority of these programs at the Division I level.
Right. It's all about the money, brother. It's all about the money. Listen, I was surprised.
And real quick, brother, excuse me, real quick. If you and I go to one of the marketing departments for one of these schools to request advertising dollars, oh, well, we don't have it in our budget.
Right.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Pardon?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then when we don't cover them as much, how come you don't cover this? Well, you're not paying me any money to cover you. You're not advertising on my show, advertising on my site. So why am I going to spend time on you?
Doc, my airways ain't free.
Amen.
Are not free. Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review, join us on the lunch break. All right, let's put a wrap on March Madness, men and women's. Any takeaway? I gotta give respect to Kansas for not taking advantage of the 5-on-4 matchup.
No.
Listen, I felt it because, brother, I'm telling you, I felt like they could have just went ahead and extended that lead.
And they should have. They should have. I'm sorry he got hurt again. So, ref should have stopped the play. Ref didn't stop the play. I'm going to score 5-on-4. Let them stop the play.
And that's my point. They did have to hold up, but they did. So, that's about the only good thing I can say about the Kansas program led by one of the biggest crooks out there. So, let me have a nice moment, please.
But I'm glad that Mark Emmert had to present the trophy to Bill Self. So I enjoyed that. And I did pick Kansas in one of my 3 brackets to win it all. So I got that. I won that bracket and I'm getting a prize from it. I came from the bottom, ended up at the top, shockingly. But your pool, I lost miserably. But Kansas won. Great comeback. Made adjustments at halftime. Played faster tempo. South Carolina dominated UConn as they should have.
Yeah.
They were the better team. Had the size advantage up front.
Yeah.
They did what Stanford refused to do and maximize their advantage in the front court. Kudos to Don Staley, got a second championship. So, and they're the favorite to win it again next year. So
and that's what I was kind of looking for because number one, got to give kudos to Don Staley, first African American coach, men or women, to win multiple championships on that level. And you sent me a way too early rankings of NCAA men, and number 1 is not Kansas or North Carolina. Number 1 was
Arkansas.
Yes. Number 2 was University of Houston.
Yes. How about that? I've seen these last couple of days, maybe 6 or 7, way too early. It's for clicks, it's for conversation.
Yeah, sure.
Houston has ranged from as high as 2 to I think as low as 6 or 7.
It's still top 10, either way you look
still
at it.
Top 10. And of course, I'm throwing a rock at you, brother, throwing a pebble at you. This is UH men's basketball. Women's basketball is nowhere to be found. But even way too early women's basketball, South Carolina's 1, I think UConn is 2, pretty much the same.
Yeah.
The programs you would expect to be ranked top 10 are still there. I'm kind of curious to see what Maryland women are going to do now that they've lost, I think 3 players, and 2 of the top players have entered the transfer portal from Maryland. So it's in women's basketball too. Transfers, the portal is active in both men's and women's hoops, as well as college football and other sports also.
Absolutely.
But yes, UH men's basketball picked as high as 2, and that is right now. That's assuming Marcus Sasser decides to come back for another year. He may decide to go pro,
right?
Which I think would be a mistake, coming off an injury and he hadn't played since December. But if he decides to do that, Coach Sampson will find somebody to fill in to get it from the portal and keep it moving. So,
right.
You know, I wish Marcus the best in whatever he decides to do. But if he ain't at Houston, I'm gonna cover Houston, whether he's there or not. So.
Right. I mean, we got a lot of good stories to cover here in Houston with U of H, with TSU. You know, we got a lot of, heck, if we go to the state, there's some decent things to cover. A lot of folks did not catch that A&M was in the finals of the NIT and except for a big time bucket, they win the NIT tournament.
And TSU, Bryson Etienne, I think Jordan Carl Nicholas, John Walker III have gone pro. So wish them the best of luck. But in that case, with Coach Johnny Jones, he'll go into the portal and recruit and get guys to fill in their spots. Coach Jones has shown that he can win at TSU, get to the tournament at TSU. So he'll get players to come in to his program to fill those roles and keep it moving. Basketball at UH and TSU is successful. Hoops. Women's programs, TSU and UH got some room for improvement.
Who's the women's basketball coach at Texas Southern?
Right now, nobody, unless they hired somebody in the last couple of hours. When I was at the beauty shop with my mom. But
they need to get Chelsea Lucas from Grambling, the volleyball coach. They need to get her.
Well, how can I phrase this, brother? I've heard that TSU does not like to hire within the SWAC.
Okay,
I'll put it like that. Whether I agree with that or not, which I don't, this is business. But that's what I've heard. So don't look for any internal hires within the SWAC coming to TSU. So that lets you know that Tamika Reed at JSU is not coming to TSU.
I hope they weren't thinking that. If somebody was thinking, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Po thang. Po tata. All right, let's move on. Big shout out to the Snowman from Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, another good crew from BS3 TV. I've been on their show a couple of times, man. Absolutely love that crew. So playoff preview, NBA. Everybody giving a lot of love to, of all people, Brooklyn. And I called it out before you got on, brother. I'm like, wait a minute. I don't want to hear about Kevin Durant's injuries because if I look, Ja Morant got injured and Memphis is still number 2 team in the West. If I look, Chris Paul got injured and they're still the number 1 team in the NBA. So all this injury stuff. And oh yeah, by the way, Brooklyn's in the play-in, not playoffs. There's a difference.
There's a big difference. People they are relying on KD and Kyrie to be KD and Kyrie once the play-in / playoffs begin for them, assuming they get to the actual playoffs. I think they should, but KD, Kyrie is Brooklyn's trying to win with just by outscoring opponents. I mean, their defense against the Rockets was nothing. No shame to the Rockets and the youngsters lighting it up, Jalen Green and all those guys, but the Nets defense was not okay. You can try to score. You didn't score, okay, we're going to score on our end, and you try to keep up. That's Brooklyn's defense. I mean, that's what it is now as they get into the playoffs postseason. So we'll see how long that lasts. I'm still picking Milwaukee because of Giannis.
Yeah.
And as long as they're healthy, and as long as Giannis is healthy, they're coming out the East, in my opinion.
So I guess that's where I am with it. Here's a question that I pose. Is Brooklyn constructed to be a championship quality team? And I'm not talking about one, people have won one. I'm talking about to be what Golden State was a couple of years ago. I'm talking about to be what, Boston has been in the past. The Lakers have been in the past. The Bulls have been in the past. Kevin Durant is one of my 2 superstars. Kyrie Irving, the Cleveland Cavaliers don't win the championship without him, but that doesn't mean they got it constructed beyond them to win it all.
Not this year's team. As long as Ben Simmons does not play, no. If he comes back next year, then you have a legit big three. If he comes back healthy, mentally and physically, then they have a makings of a solid big three. But that all depends on Ben Simmons. But this year's team, they're trying to do it, piece it together, and hope for the best.
All right, so I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going Philly and Milwaukee East. I'm going Phoenix, Memphis West.
You picking Philly because of Joel Embiid? Is that why?
Amongst other things.
Okay, well, the other things, well, I'm not picking Philly. So, okay. Memphis and Phoenix, I can go with that. I don't really trust anybody else in the West out of those two. I don't trust Golden State, their health. I don't trust Utah because of their Utah. So, I'm good with that. Yeah.
My point.
That's fair. It's just a question of Memphis and expectations. Can they match them come postseason? Ja, I think they've been like 20-3 without Ja in the regular season. Yeah. Okay. That's the regular season.
4 out of 7. Now, I keep saying this so people can get the same team, 4 out of 7.
Yes. So and they are now going to be expected to do that, expected to go far in the playoffs. So that's a different animal.
Okay. All right. Give me your East again. You said you're not picking Philly. You got Milwaukee and
Milwaukee. As long as PJ Tucker is not out for a while, I'll pick the Heat, be the second team.
Okay.
Boston or the Heat. Yeah, I'm not picking Philly. I'm not picking the Morris.
We got to get ready to go, man. Tell everybody where they can find you and follow you and what you got coming up, man.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you for fitting me in these few minutes. Trying to be a good son with my mom. But yes, Houston Roundball Review.
Bro, you are a good son, and I mean that.
Appreciate it, brother. Been around. Houston Roundball Review on Instagram, Houston Roundball Review on YouTube, Twitter, it's right there on the screen, VHR Review. Looking forward to further announcements with my man here. We got in store. Check us out on the Folks Talking Sports Friday, tomorrow with Willie Gibson, Tamer Knight, and at least one of the two, James Mueller or Andy Yanez, who will probably be at the UH football open practice tomorrow. Okay. But we'll be doing a show, Folks Talking Sports, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, available on YouTube and Twitter. But Houston Roundball Review been around since 1994. Local name, global perspective, and real quick, the WNBA draft is coming up Monday. I got some info on my blog, Women's Who's blog. Links to that on website, HoustonRoundballReview.com.
Yeah. I love the WNBA's got a problem. They got more players right now than they have teams. So,
yes. And that's me and you and everybody at H-Town who got money. Well, ain't me, probably you. But let's try to work something on happen, man. Get the WNBA back in town.
We need that.
They need to expand, and one of the locations for expansion should be Houston.
Hey, I'm not going to call Hilton Koch by name. I'm not going to call him by name, but anyway. All right, man. Kris.
Well done, brother.
Thank you, man. We'll talk soon.
All right, take care, man. Love you.
All right, love you too. Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review. Listen, we got to get ready to go. Let me get Sybil Wilkes on with her real quick. I'm going to take my camera off so you can focus more on Sybil Wilkes. And then when we come back from Sybil Wilkes, I want you to see all of the great things going on BS3 TV. Al High has clicked in. Al High says AFC Broncos, Titans, Kansas City, and Bills. Those are his 4 in the AFC. In the NFC, he's got Rams, 49ers, Bucks, and I don't trust the Cowboys. Well, you're missing the team then. You gotta have a Final Four on each side. Give me your 4th team in the NFC since you don't trust them 12-5 boys from last year. All right, y'all. Let me get Sybil Wilkes on with what you need to know right here.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Thursday, April 7th, 2021. Number 1, Cavalier Johnson became the first African-American elected mayor of Milwaukee, Wisconsin Tuesday. He overwhelmed a former alderman to win the right to finish the last 2 years of Republican Mayor Tom Barrett's term. Johnson, who served as acting mayor since Barrett resigned in December to become U.S. ambassador to Luxembourg, has been considered a heavy favorite after winning a 7-person primary by 20 points. Number 2. Colorado Democratic Governor Jared Polis signed a bill into law Monday that codifies the right to an abortion in his state. House Bill 1279, the Reproductive Health Equity Act, states that every individual has a fundamental right to make decisions about the individual's reproductive health care, including the fundamental right to use or refuse contraception. Polis's signature follows a flurry of recent restrictive abortion laws advanced by Republican state legislatures across the country. Number 3. President Joe Biden ordered a new national research push on long COVID, while also directing federal agencies to support patients dealing with the mysterious and debilitating condition. Mr. Biden assigned the Department of Health and Human Services to coordinate an urgent new initiative across federal agencies building on research already underway at the National Institutes of Health. He also directed federal agencies to support patients and doctors by providing science-based best practices for treating long COVID, maintaining access to insurance coverage, and protecting the rights of workers. Number 4. Police shot and seriously wounded a California college football player who disarmed a gunman after a bar fight. Con Green, a football player for Contra Costa Community College, was hit in his arm, abdomen, and leg. According to his attorneys, Green wasn't given enough time to react to the officer's orders to drop the gun before one opened fire. Number 5. April is National Minority Health Month, a time of year dedicated to raising awareness around the health disparities and illnesses that disproportionately affect individuals of racial and ethnic minority groups. It began as National Negro Health Week by Booker T. Washington in 1915. This month is dedicated to educating our community on health equity, encouraging early prevention like screenings and checkups, and providing resources for healthy lifestyle options. Read more about National Minority Health Month as well as efforts by the American Heart Association in today's check-in and check-out spotlight. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. If we spent more time showing God's grace, this world would be a better place. Amen. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the American Heart Association. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
All right, thank you very much there, Sybil Wilkes. And let me go back to my cam. All right, y'all, I got to get ready to go. But as always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I truly do love you. There is nothing you can do about it except meet me here tomorrow, 12 o'clock, for Freestyle Friday. I got 2 special guests that I love to life going to be joining us on the show. All right, before I go, let me let you see what's happening with BS3. All right, y'all stay right there. Right here on the lunch break. Again, thanks for joining.